Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for watching.
Say hello. So cute, so sweet. This is Vincent.
Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'm just gonna jump into it. So this is a Noelle-inspired reading habits tag. I love Noelle Gallagher so much. She made a reading habits tag a week ago, and she said, hey, comment down below or make your own video. And so, of course, I'm going to do as she requested, and I'm going to make my own video. She is a shining ray of sunshine in this giant trash can of a world we live in right now, and I adore her so much. Whenever I DM her and she messages me back, I'll go up to my husband and be like, oh, I just got done having a little conversation with Noelle. And he says, she actually messages you back? And I go, yeah, she does. And it just makes my whole day. So I'm also going to do my quick reading goals for 2020 at the end of this. They're really quick, not long enough for a full video, but I kind of wanted to put them out there so I would make sure that I might actually try to achieve them more if I'm held responsible for them. First question is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? I usually read in my bed before I go to sleep at night, so that's a really nice place. But if I'm reading during the day, I usually do it on my couch, and that's the only other place in the house that I'll read. Our couch is like an L-shaped little mini sectional, so I'll switch up which part of the couch I'm reading on, and that's my big variation of my reading setting that I'll do. So, yep, just the couch and the bed. Bookmark or random piece of paper? So I would like to always be a bookmark person. I use the book of the month bookmarks that come with each book because they're so nice. You can see this is the book that I'm reading right now, and I have my little bookmark. This is from a few months ago because I lost this month's, and I don't really like it because it's all bent and worn up. But my husband uses my leftover book of the month bookmarks that get too beat up, so we both like those a lot. But inevitably, when I'm snuggled up in a blanket, I'm gonna lose where the bookmark is, and instead of going through the effort to locate the bookmark, I will grab anything and everything to hold my page in the book. It can be a pair of scissors, a whole skein of yarn, a Nintendo Switch, anything, instead of putting the effort into actually finding the bookmark. And I always find the bookmark as soon as I get up anyways. Can you just stop reading, or do you have to find a specific place to stop? So I do read during my lunch breaks, and this makes it kind of hard to get to a nice place to stop. So if it's during my lunch break, I'll usually stop whenever my lunch break is over. If I'm a page away from the end of the chapter or something, I'll finish it. But if it's on my own time, it gets really complicated. I tell myself that I'll just read until the end of the chapter and then I'll stop. But once you get to the end and you could just start the new chapter, that's so satisfying and it feels like so much progress. So then I just can never resist just turning the page and starting the next chapter. And so then it's a continuous cycle and it's awful. And I will read way, way past the amount of time that I planned on reading. So the best thing for me is just to stop in the middle of a chapter because that's where there's the least suspense. There's always like little cliffhangers at the end of chapters, and I cannot physically stop at the end of a chapter. So I'm kind of the opposite of, I guess, what would be expected. I have to stop in the middle because otherwise it'll be too suspenseful and I can't take it. Do you eat or drink while reading? I'm a big tea person. This is my tea, my favorite blessed mug. And my favorite tea is the lemon ginger tea with probiotics from Meyer. I drink this every morning. When I run out and I have to drink another kind of tea, it just tastes disgusting for me. I just want this tea every day, multiple times a day. It's my favorite. Sometimes I'll branch out a little, but 99% of the time, it's this tea. My favorite snack, I don't have right now because I usually consume it within a day of buying it, is the Twizzlers that are lemon and cherry flavored and they have like filling inside of them. Those were my brother and I's favorite candy growing up. We would go crazy for them. And so that's my favorite like reading snack, but it's a lot of sugar and probably not the best thing for me to eat an entire package of more than on a weekly basis, so I'll only get that for myself occasionally. One of my other favorite snacks are these honey wheat braids from Meijer. We're big Meijer fans in this household. But these are so good, it's almost empty because I was snacking on them before this video because I just had them out, and that's an excuse for me to eat the whole bag. Do you multitask, listen to music, or watch TV while reading? I cannot watch TV while reading. If I legitimately care about the book, I have to give my entire focus to it. I can't even be in the bedroom at night and have my husband watching TV in the living room. If I can hear it, I make him turn it down because I can't even focus on the words that I'm reading. Sometimes I'll listen to like YouTube videos that are creepy Victorian mansion sounds or crackling fireplace or things like that that are very moody sounds that'll really get me into the mood of the book. I'll usually match it to whatever the setting in the book is and change the video when the setting of the book changes. But I can't listen to music at all. Honestly, even classical music would probably be too distracting for me. I really like to give 1,000% of my focus to just reading. I can't multitask like that at all. One book at a time or several at once? Technically, I only read one book at a time because I have one main book that I'm reading, and I really think this only counts as one book. But I do read other books at the same time that don't really count. So right now I'm reading, my main book is Where the Crawdads Sing. This is what 95% of my reading effort goes to. But I also will read a nonfiction book on the side. I have been reading this monster, embarrassingly, since June. And it is really good. It is stamped from the beginning by Ibram X. Kendi. It's very good. It's very dense and very important, but not very uplifting content. And I swear I'll read for like 3 hours and I only get through 50 pages of this book, and it's so hard to read. But I will finish this before June. I will not go a full year without finishing this because I have so many other nonfiction books that are important for me to read that I gotta get to. So I will get through this, but that's my nonfiction read. I also am in the middle of, I have two kind of like faith books. My husband bought this one for me, Love and Respect by Eggerichs. I don't even know where the dust jacket is for this. It made it look like a really sexy romance novel, and that made me kind of uncomfortable, and so I just got rid of the dust jacket. I think it's probably in the trash somewhere. And then I have this book that he also got for me because I requested it for a birthday or something one year, Christians in the Age of Outrage. I think this is a very good book for the current climate that we live in and just figuring out how to navigate everything. I haven't finished either of these, so can't really speak to how much I agree with the content, but this one's pretty good so far. This is just a random flyer that I have in here that fell out, so I have no idea what page I'm actually on. So just a tiny bit chaotic in that sense, but it's not my main book, so doesn't matter. Then I'm also reading The Shining in French. I started reading this a while ago, and it was a lot harder to comprehend than I thought it would be because there's a slight language barrier with my French isn't as good as it could be, so I really comprehend 80% of the stuff that's going on, and Danny talking to people that aren't there and things happening, it got really confusing. So I read it in English, and now I'm going back and reading it in French, and I think it'll be really fun. But this is my French read, which is much more time intensive and not very relaxing, more of like an active academic activity compared to normal reading. So I also don't get to this one very often. I really want to though. So yeah, I guess technically I'm reading 5 books at once, but I don't feel like the other ones count. Probably just false and just me trying to tell myself that I'm not chaotic when I really am. Reading at home or elsewhere? Definitely at home, only because I don't go anywhere. This pandemic has been an amazing time for me to realize I love nothing more than leaving work on a Friday, walking into my apartment, and not stepping back out of that doorway until Monday morning when I go back to work. I love being at home, going outside to read something is just, that's not even appealing to me. But who knows, maybe when everything opens back up again, I would like to go to the pool and read a book. I'm sure if I was on vacation, I would bring 20,000 books with me to read, but mostly I just read at home. I'm not going anywhere else to read. Vincent. Hello, Vincent. So nice of you to join us. Yeah. This is totally willing and not forced at all because he came out from under the bed and tried to get let out of the door.
Say hello. So cute, so sweet. This is Vincent. So cute.
He probably looks absolutely miserable. So,
He's just so cute.
okay, I'm letting him go. Okay. That's Vincent. Our other cat is named Jules. They are named after Pulp Fiction. Jules will not come out of the bed if I'm talking loudly because he's just that terrified of it. Not a very good representation for his Samuel L. Jackson namesake. But he'll get around to it. Reading out loud or silently in your head. Always silently in my head. I've never read out loud. Do you read ahead or even skip pages? This one I am the most guilty in. Sometimes I just get so excited. I can't be bogged down with the details, and so I will just skip through the page and skip right to the dialogue parts. And of course, then sometimes something will be happening and that I would have missed because it wasn't being spoken out loud, and I'll usually go back and read it. Sometimes I'll skip a chapter temporarily, like if it's in a multi-POV and it ended on a cliffhanger and I just need to see what happens to that character, I will skip and I'll read a few pages and be like, okay, it's okay. And then I'll go back and read the chapters that I skipped. So I don't just flat out skip anything, but I will temporarily do so just because I can't handle the suspense. Suspense really stresses me out in books and movies and anything. Breaking the spine or keeping it like new. Normally, I would like to not break the spine. Sometimes it cannot be avoided, like in these monsters. Who makes a book this small and this fat? There's no way. There's no way that you ever would have been able to read. You could open it like this much without bending. So, of course, these are horribly bent. If we reread this one more time, the map in the front is going to fall out. But it happens. It's loved. I watched this TikTok, and I don't know if this is general knowledge that everyone knew, but I did not know this, and I was mind blown. I tried it with this book. No creases in the spine. You take the book before you read it and go like this and just stretch out the spine. Just like that. Just stretch it out. And I did that like 3 times, and no creases at all. And I feel like this book is pretty thick. It would have had some creases, so who knows? Maybe I was lucky, or maybe I'm now a genius thanks to that TikTok. I'm very proud of this spine. Very nice. Already read. I'm happy with it. Do you write in your books? I will underline if it's my book and there's a quote or a line that I really, really like. I'll sometimes dog-ear the page if it's my book and I don't have something to underline a quote, so that way I could always go back and look at it if I wanted to. So that was the reading tag. It was super fun. So now I'm going to talk about my reading goals for 2020. My Goodreads goal is 50 books. I think I could do more than that, but I wanted to keep it really low. A lot of books that I really want to read, like Brandon Sanderson, I want to get into Robin Hobb maybe. Those books are really huge, so I know that might take a little longer than a week for me to read. And I don't want to put too much stress on myself. At the end of this year, I was 1 book away from my goal on Goodreads, and it was the last day of December. But this was the book that I was on. And I was like, here. I read like 700 pages in 3 days, and I finished it on January 2nd. And I'm sorry, I counted it as last year because I worked hard. And so I do not want to be in that situation this year. No pressure at all. I really do want to start reading some manga. Nick and I really are into a lot of animes, especially My Hero Academia. I'll probably just check those out from my library since that's kind of a lot of money for something that you read really quickly. I'll be able to reach the Goodreads goal super easy if I count those two. So those combined with the Brandon Sanderson and Robin Hobb, they should balance each other out. I'm pretty confident that I can meet that goal. I have my own personal goal of I'd really like to read 5 classics this year. I'm keeping it at 5. Super easy. I should be able to do it. I know it's going to be much harder when I actually go to picking books. I won't actually want to pick up a classic, but I always watch these people's classic TBR, my classic collections videos, and then all I want to do is read classics, but I'll be in the middle of a fantasy novel, and then as soon as I finish, I don't feel like reading a classic anymore. I'm going to make myself read some classics this year. Some that I really want to get to is Jane Eyre. I've never read. Pride and Prejudice would be fun. Dracula or like Frankenstein would be fun. The one I want to read the most is Rebecca. We read this in my AP literature class, like junior year of high school, and I couldn't remember anything about it except I loved it. And it was about a woman in a spooky castle place, and she had a garden filled with azaleas. That was it. For years, I have been dying to know what that book is so I can read it, and I finally figured it out. I'm so proud of it. And it was Rebecca, a book that I've heard people talking about, and I had no idea. So I'm going to read that book. I'm really excited. I'm glad I didn't have to track down my junior year teacher and email her to ask what book she had us read. And my last goal is to read 3 French books. I am not studying French in school anymore, and I'd really like to keep that skill rather than just letting it rot away in my brain. So reading can really achieve that for me. I have quite a few French books, but other than the Shining copy that I have, the others are all classics, which could double dip into both of my goals, but are also a little harder to comprehend as not the best level French speaker. So if you have any book recommendations in French that are a little more advanced than Le Petit Prince, let me know. I would love to read them. Something other than Les Miserables. I don't know why I have that book. I'm not going to read it this year. It would take me forever to read it, but I have it. Only the part 1, and it's still this thick. So that's probably not going to be one of the ones I read this year. And that was it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Leave me a comment down below about your reading goals or your specific reading habits. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!